friends. Welcome to my second video in the Meaning of Life series. If you missed part one, you can check it out. I'll put the link in the description below, but it'll also be at the end of the video. Before we go any further in this video series, I thought it would be apt to discuss the meaning of life and what do people mean when they talk about the meaning of life? What are they actually looking for? If you've got any thoughts on that or any of the other questions or ideas I pose in this video, let me know in the comments down below. To clarify what I'm talking about, I want to make a few distinctions about the word meaning in this phrase. Specifically, it doesn't refer to that kind of meaning, the semantic kind. That is to say, in the phrase, the meaning of life, we are not discussing how words point to objects or concepts in language. Most people, I think, are discussing the purpose and significance of life. Why should we value our life? What purpose can we find? And what is the significance in all of that? This leads to a second distinction that is often made when the meaning of life is discussed, and that's the meaning of an individual's life versus the meaning of life for the human species as a whole. In this video series, I really want to share some of my personal thoughts about the meaning of life, and in general that'll be focused on the individual, although we may well get into some discussion about the human species. But in most people's search for an answer to the meaning of life, I think they're looking at the purpose, importance, and significance in the lives of individuals, especially their own life. Thus, our focus here is on the meaning in an individual's life. To start, let's talk about whether there is an ultimate meaning, an objective purpose to our lives as dictated by the universe. And the short answer to that is, no one's found one yet. Some theories, like supernaturalism, state that God or a soul give life meaning. This is a faith-based system that works for some people, but for those of us who don't subscribe to a faith, it doesn't help bring purpose or significance to our lives. On the other side of that coin, Camus stated that if there is some kind of universal objective meaning to life, then that's unknowable to us. And that's the absurdity of life, that we're these curious beings always searching for meaning and significance in our own lives, but we'll never be able to find it. Nihilism, on the other hand, states that there is no intrinsic meaning to life, that neither the universe nor a deity bestow any meaning into our lives. For those that believe in supernaturalism, they may derive their meaning from their faith, but for those of us that don't, Camus or the nihilist perspective may seem really bleak, but I think that's only if you take them as a ending point rather than a starting point. And I would argue, as Camus did about absurdity, that nihilism and absurdity, those are both starting points. Either it's absurd that we can't find the universal meaning that does exist, or there is no universal meaning, and either way we're left to search for meaning and purpose and significance in our lives. Camus' existential absurdity and the nihilist pessimism really are just points where we need to take responsibility and find that purpose and significance in our own lives. Camus was lit up by the acceptance of his absurd starting point. However, not everyone may feel that way. How do you feel if you entertain the idea that no person or thing will give you meaning, that you must make it yourself? Is it freeing or daunting? Exhilarating or anxiety-inducing? Maybe a bit of all of them? It seems that in the search for the meaning of life, that maybe some of us are looking for a structure to give our lives direction. For many of us who went through elementary and high school, some structure was handed to us early on. The purpose of life was going to school to learn and grow and become productive members of society and support ourselves and our loved ones financially, emotionally, all the ways we can. Now, certainly how well our current and past school systems prepare humans for this is definitely debatable. However, once that structure is gone, we're still left with that gaping void and meaning of how we want to be productive members of society and how we can best support ourselves and our loved ones, or whether that is what we want to even do with our lives at all. And this is where we get to the meat of the problem. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do to give your life meaning, purpose, significance? This is a big question, and it seems that no one's going to answer it for us in a way that makes us happy. Thus, it's up to ourselves to create our own answer, and in so doing, create our own purpose. For those of us wanting structure, we're left with nothing, no framework. organized religions often fill this need for structure for some people. And if that works for you and doesn't lead to harming other people, great. If it doesn't, consider subscribing, because in future videos I really want to talk about a framework that we can use to find meaning and purpose in our own lives. But that's a huge topic and outside the scope of this video. Here, we're talking about what people are searching for when they talk about the meaning of life. And it's essential to understand the question before we begin searching for an answer. As Douglas Adams highlighted in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if we don't understand the question, we have no hope of understanding the answer. In this infamous book, which I highly recommend reading if you haven't, they construct a giant computer to calculate the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And that answer was 42. To everyone in the book, including the giant computer constructed to find the answer, 42 makes no sense. As the giant computer points out, nobody understands the question, so they can't really understand the answer. I love Douglas Adams' work, and the joke of the answer being 42 was a nice little farce on the search for objective meaning. But much like the nihilists and Camus, it tells us that the search for meaning is an inward journey. So when people ask about the meaning of life, I think they're searching for the purpose and significance of their lives. I contend that you must create that purpose, and you must find your own contentment with that significance. I would argue that to be content with our life, we must be content with our level of significance. And some might say we are insignificant, and while that may be true on a global or universal scale, we are significant to ourselves and to those immediately around us. To say that another way, if you're striving to be significant to the entire universe or even the entire Earth, that's a pretty big goal that most won't reach in their life. Now, shooting for such lofty significance is fine. It's when we hang our contentment with life on it that we risk despair while diminishing that which we contribute to our own life and the lives of those around us. Instead, I think it's better to be content with being significant in our own immediate circle and community. Making a difference in just a handful of lives is an admirable and worthy goal, and it's something you can be sure to attain while striving for more. So, the meaning of life is really asking the question, what is my purpose and how can I be content with my level of significance? Let's explore how to answer those questions more in depth together in the next few videos. See you later, friends.